Welcome to this week's edition of Mountain Outhouse News. I'm your host, Jam. This is the craziest that happened in running this week. This week's stories include the start of TransCon, World Trail Championship results, and which Ghelfi set a new FKT on Half Dome. Gary Cantrell's cross-country jaunt has officially begun. Laz will be walking most of US 20 across the country, from Newport, Rhode Island to Newport, Oregon. His 3,400-mile journey began this past week, and he is averaging roughly 25 miles per day thus far. The TransCon can be followed online with so far daily diary blog posts from Laz himself posted to a special section on vacationwithoutacar.com. Our next story is a sad one to report on, with a death on the Bob Graham Round. The notoriously tough route in the Lake District of England traverses 42 fells, which is often attempted to be completed in less than 24 hours. It appears a pair of fell runners were on the route when bad weather moved in and they became separated in the evening. One member made his way back to the Blacksail Youth Hostel to call for help. Rescue teams were deployed with over 100 rescuers and dogs involved. The fell runner was found in the early morning, but unable to be resuscitated later at a hospital. Ryan Ghelfi, former FKT record holder for the run to the top of Half Dome and back, returned this past week to take another crack at the record. He originally broke the record almost 10 years ago at age 19 with a time of 2:30.50. The record was reduced by Ricky Gates, then Kyle Williams, and finally the late Dean Potter, who used a combo route of running and free climbing to set the current mark of 2:17.52. Ryan was off and running May 19th with a new recon under his belt from Potter's route. He was up at the top in 1 hour 31 minutes, but several behind where he needed to be ultimately. He pulled the plug on his attempt to instead help his wife Natalie, who was going for the ladies' record. She was able to complete the round trip in 3 hours 14 minutes 6 seconds, setting a new women's FKT. Ryan vows he will return one day to reclaim the record. For our next story, we head back to the UK and to John Ryan, who becomes the first person to complete all 5 of the major rounds in under 24 hours each. He just polished off the Ramsay round in Scotland with a sub-20-hour time on the 56-mile route with over 28,500 feet of climb. He previously finished the Bob Graham round in England, the Paddy Buckley round in Wales, as well as the Wicklow round and Dennis Rankin round. Now for some race results from the weekend. We first head to the IAU World Championship, which took place at the, and you know I'm gonna butcher it, Peñagolosa Trail 85K, which features 4,900 meters of climb and route held in Spain. We start with the men's race, which was led by American Zach Miller through 50K or so. As he pushed the pace early for the race, he was eclipsed by the 62K mark, eventually passed by runners pacing themselves a bit more. Luis Alberto Hernando came out on top for the 3rd year in a row, securing himself the title as world champ once again and showing that he is the best in the world when it comes to the 50-ish mile distance. Also from Spain, Christopher Clemente ran a very smart paced race to come in second, moving his way up the field steadily all day. The UK's Tom Evans came in 3rd. Zach faded back to 8th, and top American was Mario Mendoza in 6th. As far as team totals go, Spain won with Great Britain in 2nd and France 3rd. On the ladies' side, Dutch runner Ragna de Botts ran off the front early, all the way to the finish with a large win margin of 16 minutes, which is no joke with a field this deep and stacked. She previously finished 3rd and 4th in the World Champs the past 2 years. Next up was Spanish runner Laia Cans, followed by Claire Mogul of France. Top American runner was Claire Gallagher in 8th, and strong finishes by Caitlin Gerben in 10th and Sabrina Little in 12th helped secure the bronze for the US. Spain won the women's race overall, as well as France was in 2nd. A couple of former Western States 100 champs took to the trails of the Quicksilver 100K and 50K races in California. Kat Bradley is tuning up for her return to defend her state's title next month, as she won the 100K by a wide margin in 11 hours 15 minutes. Ben Eisenbach won the accompanying men's race in 9:53. In the 50K, Rob Carr was actually back in action, taking the close win by outrunning the Cornfield Cowboy, Corey Woltering. Rhea Black was your women's champ. The Quad Rock 50 miles put on by Nick Clark & Co. out of Fort Collins, Colorado, which has a good bit of climb and was run under wet and muddy conditions this year. Addie Bracey won the women's race in 8:51, with Jimmy Elam slaying the men's race in 7:40. Heading over to the Beast Coast, we have results from the Ultra Race of Champions, which crowned its champions after a 100K course in Virginia. The race was won by Tyler Siegel in 10 hours 8 minutes, who finished 28 minutes ahead of runner-up Jeffrey Colt. Third overall, and again the women's champion, was Amanda Basham, who ran uncontested in the ladies' race, winning by well over an hour in 10 hours 40 minutes. Runner-up was Sarah Kais. The winners walked away with $5,000 in cash each. To the mighty Midwest in the Ice Age 50, which was won by Jeff Friedman in 6 hours 47 minutes, and on the ladies' side by Jessa Hackman in 7 hours 29 minutes. Not sure if these are particularly fast times, as I couldn't access old results from the website, but I'm thinking we've seen faster in the past. So many races, so many races. Next to the Transvulcania Ultra, which goes across the Spanish island of La Palma, Ida Nilsson continued her dominance at this race by winning the 74-kilometer race for the third straight year. She led from start to finish, but was getting closed upon by Monica Comas of Spain, who finished 6 minutes later. On the men's side, Per Aurel of Spain won his first Transvulcania, 7:37, holding off Dmitry Matiev of Russia by less than a minute. And in track news, the Dawn to Dusk to Dawn 24-hour took place under rainy and warm conditions, with Padraig Mullins winning with 132.7, and on the ladies' side was Emily Collins with 113.3 miles. Gotta shout out 70-year-old Jean Tykes, who ran the race and set 50K, 50-mile, 100K, and 12-hour national track records for his age group. Of note, he also recently ran a 63-minute 10-mile and 2:57 marathon. Holy crap, Jean! The Navajo commemorative 400-mile run from Fort Sumner to Window Rock has officially begun, according to Navajo Nation Vice President Jonathan Nez. We'll have more updates next week as the journey across their land continues. Boston Marathon runner-up Sarah Sellers, who shocked the world with her podium finish this year, was just nabbed by Ultra Running, who's been scooping up a lot of running talent lately, as well as race sponsorships, including the Mount Marathon race in Alaska. Sad news to pass on this week as Bob Hayes, a 91-year-old runner from Montana and star of the film The Hard Way, passed away this week. Never met the man, but he seemed extremely nice and absolutely loved the sport. You can still nab one of our Have a Shitty Week hats, shirts, or stickers in our online shop, which we'll link below. And with that, thanks for tuning in to episode 93 of Outhouse News, and we'll see you next time. If you have crazy stories to share, or a question or feedback for the show, please leave a comment below. If you'd like to directly support this show financially, consider becoming a Patreon supporter of this channel. We just did a big giveaway for Patreon supporters at the $10 per month level last week. Have a shitty week. And with that, have a shitty week.